created to have some fun together, sharing and singing. So, join and enjoy.
Our love for opera brings us together. Thanks for being with us in this trip.
And so, everybody, this is a very special program for several reasons. One of them, as you see me, I'm back in the outdoors. You know that I don't like recording in a four-walled room. I feel so enclosed. And so I thought that since today it's going to be a very, very funny program, it was better if I went outside. So there are birds that if you listen to the chirping of the birds, it's not Katya. This time are birds. And of course, eventually you may see some people crossing because I'm at a public park and there are many sports area. It is a very nice place to be. I like to come here often, but that would explain why you see me like this. And one day, at some point, there's going to be excessive light or excessive shade. But the tree that I am sitting by, it's just so nice, and it's going to get cloudy soon, and there is wind, so everything nice here. And I was saying that it's going to be a super funny program because today is going to be Mosaïque's encore, the unseen concert. All the things that you didn't see happen on that July 26th. And maybe you don't know, but every presentation is full of anecdotes. There are many things happening that you don't see or that you either from the audience point of view or even from the performers. There are always things happening that you say, I'm going to take it as a memory, or I'm going to write a book of my memories. Also, or as in today's case, we are going to be sharing them in this program. So, Katya, why don't we kick off with the, let's say, in the order that things happened. We shared a little last week. If you have already watched the latest spectacular singing, we shared the most beautiful puppies on earth that are Katya's grandsons and daughters. And it is because you were singing and planning and doing everything, but in the back of your mind, you were about to be a grandmom.
I was about to become crazy.
You didn't expect so many puppies come out of the mommy's belly, right?
Actually, no, no, no. We thought about five puppies and we got 11.
I remember that you texted me back telling me that the puppies were being born, and you said, "And there's another coming, and there's another," and the list was like it never stopped, and we were asking how could the mother manage to have so many babies in her belly? It was amazing. And
That's right.
we also use the Mexican expression that puppies come with que vienen con una torta, los bebés vienen con una torta bajo el brazo. We use that expression in Mexico. And so we were saying that Mosaic was in a way a gift by those beautiful, beautiful babies. And I wanted to mention this because people are not aware, but many times the singer, the performer on stage is, of course, focused, trying to keep his mind on what he's doing. But in the back of your mind, you still have many worries that maybe my mom is sick, or I have to fly after this because my airplane is leaving in 2 hours. And if I don't finish on time, the plane is going to leave me. In this case, you were expecting to be a grandmom. How did you manage? Because it was positive. It was very positive that you were about to be a grandmom and you were still performing in front of the audience and for our listeners in over 1,000 cities. How did you feel that day?
I was, above all, I was happy because to sing is one of the most important parts of my life. When I was about to wrap up the bachelor at the university, we were crossing through the pandemic.
Hmm.
So it was a terrible moment for me, as I'm sure that it was for all the people that works on a stage, because exactly stages were closed. So I was thinking something like, well, mm, what am I gonna do when I wrap up my bachelor? How am I gonna sing if there's no way to perform? There are no stages, and what the heck am I gonna do? And suddenly I was singing here with you, with all of you that join us, and to be, well, back on stages first in our first concert in February, and this new concert, Mosaïque. Well, like you said, it is a gift from the puppies. Es su torta bajo el brazo, definitely. And I have to say that as a singer, it supposes that you are always nervous when you have to be on stage. But I enjoy to sing so much that no, I don't feel nervous at all. For me, it is one of the most great experiences that I can uh, be living in that moment. So I was thinking about the puppies because the vet told us that they were about to burn mm, exactly the day after the concert was the last day that they could be born after we should be worried about. And it was like, oh my god, just give me a couple of hours and and then we can take our lives back again. So I try to make a pause to I try to don't be thinking about them with this worry, and everything was joy in that moment, but just in that moment.
Yeah. And now talking about being nervous, people in more than in the video, people on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music are very aware of the voice of Alonso, who supported us in reading part of the presentation of the pieces. But people in the auditorium and on the video could barely see him because the computer recording was covering basically him. So if you were there, you could just see his hat over the laptop, but people on Spotify can hear him clearly because he opens every part. So it was kind of awkward for some people because they asked me, one of the friends that attended asked me why he was not, as it usually happens, as we call it in Spanish, as the maestro de ceremonias, right in front doing the presentations. And I was telling them that it was on purpose, that it was because the audio need to be very clear for the streaming. And so that was the reason. But since the people in the auditorium couldn't see Alonso, people, I didn't share it with you, but Alonso also traveled 16 hours that day to be with us the prior day because he was in Oaxaca. But instead of traveling back to Puebla, which is closer for people who know the geography of Mexico, Puebla and Oaxaca are close. But he was in Puebla, but since the family decided to stay a couple days longer, he didn't have his clothing ready. They were in the state of Mexico. So he traveled all the way from Oaxaca, crossed Puebla, Mexico City, state of Mexico, got everything ready, and back to Puebla. He arrived at 2 a.m. in the morning. I arrived at 12, so he arrived even 2 hours even later than well, we even got there is a night shift of the hotel. I had to, hey man, I need the door open because there is another guest arriving. So it was sort of uncomfortable because I had to wake up the guy who was supposed to be awake. And so the reason I was sharing you about Alonso because on the video and in the auditorium, many people were not very aware about Alonso. People, I insist on Spotify, Amazon Music, and all those are aware because that's the voice you hear. But also, he was very nervous. Super, super nervous. He even forgot words he already knew. And that's
that
he shared. I also have to share with you that he is a performer himself. He's a professional dancer, so he's used to be on stage, but he's on modern music. So he was a little worried that, but it is classical music, singing opera, and there is a pianist, and so you see the change of in the mood, the kind of people who was there, it was terrorizing him. He was terrorized because on the other mood, he when he enters the stage and the performances, he's clapping and everything is like that. But this is sitting, the serious soprano there, the serious pianist.
and we are not serious.
And we were not very serious that day, but the audience was at the beginning, which we are going to be talking about in a second. So poor Alonso, I really suffered for him. He even forgot to start the recording at the beginning. He made a second recording, which many people didn't notice. He made a second recording to his left, but he was so nervous that the camera was falling apart. So every 2 minutes, the camera was pointing more to the sky than to the stage. I keep the recordings because the audio is very good, but actually that's what it was happening. And maybe just before I forget, it was also very funny. And you have to agree with me on this, Katia. People think that when you perform, you actually, and when you're performing with someone else, that you actually see what is happening. And the truth is that you don't, because keep in mind, well, for people who just listen to it, picture in your minds the stage at the front. Katia and I, we were at the left corner at the bottom, the pianist in front of us, Alonso on the front to the right, and well, the area where we were performing. So we were basically at the back. From there, you really don't, and I was not wearing glasses, and I'm short-sighted. So what could you see? Nothing. I just could see Katia standing up and singing and going back to her place.
Yeah, that's it.
And but since I was close to the pianist, I was taking a look at the score. Because he's also very modern. We have to say that because more modern pianists and moreover pianists have their scores on a tablet,
Yeah.
which is I am old fashioned. If I don't have paper in my hands, I
I
really
need paper. I need paper. I don't feel comfortable with a tablet or something.
it gives you some, well, in my case, it gives some sort of confidence of matching the emotion, feeling that you are about. Even the sensation of passing to the next page is lovely. So when I see that they do it with blinking or something else, mm, but I was looking at that, so I was taking a look at how he was. And that's what I also wanted to mention, and just to confirm that when you're singing, you basically see nothing, the back of
Nothing.
everybody.
And you don't care. You're used to.
And that's why I realized how it all went when I watched the videos. Until I watched the video, says, so it went like that, so it looked like that. Because for the first number, for Giulio Cesare, remember that Cleopatra has to seduce, to convince Giulio Cesare, which you did with a gentleman who supported in this game, and we put the chair there and everything. But I could see
In
your
this case,
back,
he's the puppy's grandpa.
and he is a puppy's grandpa, by the way, for people to know it. And but I thought that it was being great. What I could see was the chair and your back. And at one moment when you're facing him, I couldn't see anything else. And at some point, I wanted to descend and to sit among the public so that I could enjoy it myself as well. Because I said, "Oh my God, this is a part that I don't like of being the performer. I don't get to see anything. I get to learn it afterwards." But well, so because people asked me also how did I feel about it, and I said, I suppose it was good. I mean, I really didn't watch it.
I don't know. It worked for me.
It worked for me. I hope it worked for you. And I would invite people, if you watch the short that that I published soon after Mosaic, if you saw it, and if you don't, go to the video on Mosaic and stop it at the first of Katya's performance, this Cleopatra's and Julio Cesare, because you need to look at his face. I mean, his face is wow, full of admiration, respect, love. You know that there is this phrase that says, "Quédate con el que te mire como te están mirando, fulanito." Like that. People in the auditorium were very impressed.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And but remember that I couldn't see anything but a chair and Katia on an angle. So I knew it, or I hoped, or I expected that it was being good, but I couldn't see anything. So basically, the feedback that the audience was asking me is the feedback that I needed from them. You tell me how it looked, but because I couldn't see it. So,
Yes, so share.
and I think that that was a very great opening. You know, which also made me laugh a lot. Um, uh, there is a friend who told me, now we're moving to Olympias, Les Oiseaux dans la Charmille, the doll song. Remember that you and I improvised that that we were pretending that you got mad at me and that you left the room. I remember that after the presentation, it is this girl coming to me and saying, "I really thought she had left the concert. I really didn't know what was going to happen later." And then you stood up and say that you didn't care. Yeah. She said that she and her friends, because she didn't attend alone, even started talking among themselves and said, "What is going to happen now? The soprano just left, and this guy says that it doesn't matter. Are they going to stop the presentation or what?" So,
Or is Ricardo about to sing Olympia?
and we have to confess also that she says it is because I know that you can make people get mad very easily. So I really thought that you made it with Katya. She thought that you were the victim when everybody knows you're never the victim.
Soprano is always the victim.
Only in the operas. In real life, it's the other way around.
Of
So,
course, no.
and so that was also super fun for me. Uh, you know, it is a little moving ahead, but it happened also in Olympias that I had brought this speaker because I wanted the sound to be much better to cover the whole, but it didn't work. So you were rehearsing and I was connecting everything, and that crap never worked. So in my mind, it was super fun and super great, and the moment you need to present it, it just doesn't work. So that's why I had to improvise on the volume. People in the video version can hardly hear the sound of recargando limpia. That voice from Alexa in the video, you can hardly hear it because it comes from my mobile phone. But people on Spotify can hear it clearly because I amplified it. So I guess they caught it at first, at the very first chance, and it was fun at the end because that's when they realized that everything was part of what we had prepared. That you were really leaving that hadn't really made you mad, that you weren't really the presentation, and that everything was okay. So some people who attended didn't even know the number and said, it sounded cool. It looks like opera can be cool.
Of course.
When you do it like that, of course, I was also very worried that you could fall when people were picking you up.
Yes, that made me nervous. I felt how these friendly guys were suffering when they have to get up on the stage through the stairs, I was like, oh my god, take care! Oh my god, take care!
Three things could have happened horribly. One, that you fell. Two, that one of the two guys fell. Or third,
Yes,
that in passing by the camera or the microphone, they could ruin everything. That was what's coming in my mind. Because also going to the performance, when you're performing, you're thinking, I'm positioned here, I'm singing this, the piano is blah, blah, blah. So that's what's going on in your mind. But when you have to add the worries that, please guys, don't let me fall. Please guys, you don't fall. Please guys, don't.
yes.
Fortunately, everything went very good. Nothing happened. Nobody was harmed, and it was super fun.
Everybody loved it.
I also have to say that even the pianist didn't know about how it was being planned.
No.
The final agreement, Katia and I reached it when I was at the Guadalajara airport. I was waiting for my transfer to to the final destination, and that's when we finally agreed on what we were going to do. All I could say is that I told the pianist it's going to be fun. So you don't worry, just stop when you have to stop. We'll do the rest. So in a way, I also wanted to mention that since most of what I sung was I had to stop and changes and rah, 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 rah. I just told the pianist, just expect the unexpected. That's the
But
best
he's
advice.
pretty classic, so he was very nervous indeed because he's very classic.
He is very classic. So if you notice the way he plays, you notice that he is very classic. So in a way, also our presentation was out of what he was used to, and besides not being so ourselves so classic, I also wanted to mention about the superstar of the night, which was Isidro.
Yes.
Isidro, I don't on the video you cannot see it very clearly. I am going to be posting a picture of Isidro. Isidro is a traditional maid in Mexico in the commemoration of the Day of the Dead. But the guy has the body of a guitar. It's super, super, super cool. He's lovely. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear a better quality of sound because of the same problem with the speaker. But when Toribia sent me the picture and said and told me I could borrow Isidro for the presentation, I said Isidro has to come in. Even you cannot attend, but Isidro has to come. You send it through DHL, but Isidro needs to be here. And Isidro, I think what was a great appearance, made lots of sense with the music of the guitar that we played. And I don't know about you, Katia, from your perspective. Because I have done this way many times, but sometimes people are reluctant. You say, "Hey, who wants to come here with me? Hey, who wants to
Oh,
come
nobody
here with
wants.
me?" And nobody. But here I was saying, "Who wants to come to read?" And I saw three hands rising. How did you feel about the participation of people?
I love that because for me it's a kind of feedback that we are making them feel comfortable. If we are making them to having fun at that moment, they're being they're being actually part of the concert. It is more simple and easier to be part in that sense, participating.
Many people, because of the positioning of the microphones, there were things happening that people on the video and people on Spotify could not catch. But we who were present at the hall, we knew that happens. In my first participation, when I explained the situation of Herman, and I asked, "How do you feel when you really want to have someone by your side, but you know that she or he will not be there?" There were several voices who said, "Ay, se siente bien feo, ay, no." Many expressions like those that were very, very, very sincere. And when you feel that people are answering you and connecting with the emotion that you're going to try to communicate, you really feel like it's worth it. It's really, really worth it. Which, before I forget, leads me to another comment. I don't know if you got a similar comment, but the last lady who came to read, it was not Dime que sí, La Llorona. She came on the stage to read La Llorona. Uh, After the presentation, she approached me and told me, "I have not attended many opera presentations, not opera singers. This is maybe the second or the third time." And she told me, "And this is the first time that I feel the emotion." I said, "Oh!" Uh,
I'm gonna
me-
cry.
she explained. I didn't, of course, I didn't understand the language because mainly Katya sang in several languages. Uh, uh, she said, I paid attention to the explanation and I felt the emotion in every piece you sang.
No.
And I said, "Oh my God." Well, that was intention, but when somebody tells you that you actually achieved it, it's when you
Yes.
say, "Wow, well, maybe I'm doing a good job there."
Probably.
Probably. Let's make a pause there because we are going to exceed the time of part one and we are halfway of what we want to share. So we're stopping part one. There's going to be a bonus for the coming month in November. So we're not saying bye, just this small pause so that we continue with the next of the comments. Okay, so this is the second part because, as always, we speak too much, and 30 minutes were not enough for sharing with you. We wrapped up the first part by saying how it was for me. It was really a moment that touched me. That somebody approaches you and without you requesting anything tells you, "I really felt emotion today." In one of them, they told me that they even wanted to cry when you sang Solveig.
Well, I have to say that Bernardo, uh, he is a very he's a very calm person. He usually doesn't cry, but he told me that when I was singing Solveig also, he cried a little bit.
It's
Yeah,
very
it was
beautiful
good.
from anyone's perspective, but it's also sad. We have to confess, and I think we need to wrap up in 5 minutes because I am about to run out of battery. Remember that we are in the outdoors, so I am going to stop the recording for a second for the final seconds. Give me a sec.
You can follow our channel for the latest updates and more content. Oprah will love singing, in just one word. Link in the description of the episode.